Hello, everyone. This is Demand Gen, CEO of Virago Marketing. I'm here with Nate Wright, president of B2B Bandits. Is that correct?
I'm founder, partner, chief, everything officer, whatever.
That's my actual LinkedIn title is Chief Everything Officer. Like the toilets need clean, I'm gonna do it. If I gotta write something, I'm the writer, I'm the strategist, all the things. But here we are, 2025. We had Nate on last year, and so Nate and I had came up with a series of questions, and we're like, hey, let's try to go through these and provide some value in this area. And I think I asked maybe the first question, and then we went somewhere else, and it was a good conversation, but we didn't get to like to the meat of what you do and the value that you provide and the insight that you have. So happy to have you back for 2025.
Thank you.
And bear with me, I'll be with my tissues and my tea because it's just that time of the year. So, that's just what it is. So we typically do an icebreaker. And since this was kind of like off the cuff kind of podcast, I'm just going to throw one at you. Okay. What are you most looking forward to for 2025?
That's a good question. I would say that I'm looking forward to getting back into events again. Actually, my company has been, marketing and producing like small business events for years. We've finally started doing our own a couple of years ago, and honestly, it didn't well attended, packed house, right people, good jam, good word of mouth, check. But at the end of the day, the actual profitability of it long term, it just wasn't there. So we had to can them, and it was so much fun. So we're gonna take another crack at it this year.
Were they like happy hours or workshops?
We were doing rooftop happy hours down in San Diego area.
Yeah, it's nice to see people in person again.
Yeah, we had checked all the boxes. I think we got a couple clients on it. We ran them like a year. Like I think we did something like 10 or 11 happy hours, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But a lot of great relationships. A lot of other people made money off of it just with the relationships they created. Like big deals, actually. So that was cool.
Well, it's funny you say that because I started a whole company around this with Nate Johnson. We started a company called Freight Movement. And what we do is geographically local industry events. So, we get a sponsor, somebody from the industry that's like, hey, I want to pick up the check. I support bringing the industry together. Not everybody gets to go to the larger shows. So what it does is gives the opportunity for people who don't normally get to go or people who don't have the budgets to go, the opportunity to kind of engage with the industry and stuff. Now, I don't go into it with like lead generation in mind. I just love, meeting people and connecting people. But there's just been tremendous value for everybody that attends. They meet new people, they connect with old people, or old connections, I should say, not old people.
We don't go got a grade in my beard. It might actually fit the bill.
No, but I mean, I honestly think if you think about the future of marketing, it's kind of going back to where it started with that in-person and word of mouth, leveraging connections, relationships. Now, I'm not saying that there's more components to it. There's definitely a digital aspect, but I think the quickest way to get business done is in person.
I agree wholeheartedly. So this year, we're still going to hyper localize. I live in Northern California, like near Sacramento. So I know nothing about that market. So I'm going to be kind of like starting in a new space from scratch because I just moved up from San Diego. So that's going to be interesting because it's going to give me a chance to kind of venue, hunt, and build. That's been honestly, my favorite part of it has been finding cool little venues, like finding like more interesting experiences. I had a meeting with a guy just yesterday who he owns part of a pool a swimming pool they had invested in years ago.
He
And
owns part of a pool?
yeah, so he's like a part owner of
Okay.
a pool. It's an odd thing, right? The guy's got his fingers in all sorts of different businesses.
Sure.
And he's got buddies that are like Navy SEALs, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a business event where we do like underwater training. I'm like, well, I would totally not go to that because I had a chance going Navy or Air Force. I went Air Force for a reason. But like I dig how out of the box it is. Because I guess when you're like drowning together, you might become like best friends after that.
We're connected now. We have this experience, this life-threatening experience.
Yeah,
no.
but yeah, short answer is getting back into events. That looking back and like reflecting on when we run them for our clients, it typically always work, right? When we ran it for ourselves, we had a lot of biases, and one of them is we went too broad. Okay. So like we needed to get way more specific about the types of people in the room. So more industry specific or functionally specific, like just CMOs or just VPs of operation, like you really get tactical in that way.
And then you put them in the pool and you say, if you want me to save you, sign here.
No, if you want me to save you, find somebody else.
It's not Nate. Nate's not jumping in. No, but that's awesome. And like an unconventional approach, and I think that's what we need is more unconventional strategies. So that's something that, you and I talk about a lot. What are some examples of what that looks like in today's like marketing and sales?
So with AI getting so heavy, anything that you could touch, I think it's going to become and is becoming more valuable. So in the past, we've done things like free sticker campaigns where people fill out a form and all they get is just a funny sticker, and it was about their like the kind you put on your mug, right?
Love stickers.
So we found a bunch of jokes. In this particular case, it was nurse recruiting, like, oh, such an exciting topic. But we found a bunch of humor around it, had a bunch of stickers made and set up kind of like a slightly automated system that people show interest. They fill out a quick little form, send them a sticker, and then a few weeks after that, market to them. So the stickers are cheap and they're tangible and they're forever. At least as long as like stickers on my boss, some of these stickers are like 3 or 4 years old.
I put stickers on my computer, so the back of my computer is just covered in stickers. So I'm more than happy to add stickers to that when I get that. So I mean, stickers, and then like you have on your water bottle, and then you see it every day, and it's memorable, and it's I think it's low effort too, right? Like you send it, you see it, and it's fun, and it's there.
The downside of that is that it's low effort. So if someone was like trying to get my business, like one of the things I spend more money on each year in my budget is not ad spend, actually, it's platforms. So like our project management platform is one of our biggest expenses because we use it literally 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Multiple team members, and if it breaks, like it hurts our company. So it's a high value thing. If someone tried to like get my business, just send me a sticker, I wouldn't even know if that would be enough to take the meeting and be like, yeah, I have to try a little harder with that, buddy.
So what project management tool do you use?
Right now we're using Zoho Projects.
Okay.
It's the devil we know. And yeah, I've used all of them over the years, Basecamp and Monday.
Have you tried Teamwork?
What's that?
Have you tried Teamwork?
Yes.
So that's the one I'm on now, but I'm just waiting for somebody. They're going to be rich. Just make a platform that does all the things, because it's like you see a solution you like and you try it and it's great, except it doesn't do these things. I mean, it's like, then you got to figure out what to give and take, and just, I don't know why.
I know, it's like
does it all. Yeah.
We offloaded our scheduling platform recently. That's something that comes up in sales and marketing for everybody, right? Like you want to use a Calendly link or a OneSub link or a HubSpot meeting link. Google just released their version of a scheduling tool this past year. I tried it out. It checks all but one box. And
is it a big box?
No, actually, it was field mapping. So when someone books, getting the fields mapped. So I used Zapier, and I used Zapier's little AI tool, and I'm like, hey, how do I like get the company name out of the event description? How do I scrape it out? And Zapier helped me build these kind of nerdy little text parsing tasks inside the Zap.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Check that box too. So it's going to save us like close to $3,000 a year.
I love learning new things that you could do, like how you could leverage the AI tools. It's not just about writing, right?
Yeah.
About writing.
It wrote me specifically, it was Python regex, a Python regex string, which is like the nerdy thing I think I've ever done in my life. And
it's like having, tech support and things like that. So you can use something like Claude and take a screenshot and say, I'm stuck. What do I do? I'm trying to do this. And then it'll walk you through. It's what
platform?
Claude.
Oh, I've used that only like once. I didn't know I could do a screenshot with that. That's cool.
Yeah. No, so that's how I learned how to build some of those AI automations like you have, where I'm like, I don't know where to start. Ask Claude. And I was like, this is amazing. Because it's not just leveraging it to do the job for you. It's teaching you. And I think that's how we need to embrace more of the AI. Like, it could do things for us, but it's not the end all solution, right? Like,
so I have to ask the question. We're talking about this. And I know both you and I work with software companies, right? You know, buy from software companies and help software companies sell things. Okay. The CEO of Microsoft just a couple of days ago said that based on how fast AI is developing and other platforms are developing, that he thinks that SaaS is dead. The CEO of Microsoft said that. And I know that in the marketing space, AI has definitely affected me, and as a writer. And some of the email and like ad platforms have become like the AI versions are starting to compete with like what my best humans could do, right?
Yeah.
But a SaaS platform, SaaS in general, being in danger because of it. We're talking about generating code to solve an integration or an automation problem. Yeah. Like, I'm curious, I was shocked to see someone that big, like the CEO, I don't know how to pronounce Satya, say that. I was like, what?
My thought is that it's an overlay and you still need that centralization. So like, what comes to mind for me is like a TMS, and then so transportation management software, and it's like the heart of your operation. Everything flows into it. You can't necessarily replace it, but like it could get smarter by what you bolt onto it. So you still need that centralized place. But if you put AI on it, it could help you manage your operations a lot smoother. It can give you suggestions. It could find opportunities for you to make more money or save more money, or to be on time, or to manage exceptions, like things like that like help you do your job. But I don't see it replacing the software. What do you think?
No, that pencils out. I mean, I tried to have ChatGPT help me create some lists that were in a table recently, and it kept on losing its place. And I was like, okay, we had 5 columns here like 5 minutes ago, and now we have 4 columns. Or you changed the column labels in this last interaction. I was like, actually, it's like, what's going on? Everything okay here? Like,
I did that the other day, and it was like, here's the top 5, and I was like, no, I want all of them. I want all of them, and I want to keep the not the title, but the information. So like, if you have a bar chart and it's like 50 respondents and 25 respondents, like I want to, what is that called? I know there's a word for it, But it seemed like the AI, I don't know if it's got lazy, but I was like, hey, bro, bring that back.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not getting rid of that. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think that longer term, SaaS is going to be heavily disrupted.
Yeah.
But there's certain areas that even if it does become heavily AI driven, like I've got a client right now who does private AI setups for attorneys. And attorneys, when they use AI, like they're a huge target for cybercrime. Huge target for cybercrime. They have additional laws and regulations that they're under because they're like sensitive private client information, and the use of AI in actual like trials and court cases has gotten people in a bunch of trouble because AI has like high profile, like state Supreme Court type stuff, where the AI has led them astray. So this guy has been able to, it's like, yeah, everything's going AI, but it's a whole different stack. Like the AI for attorneys it's computers, not a bunch of, NVIDIA cards in a room somewhere. It uses IBM Watson, which is like the biggest supercomputer in the world, and the layers of security are crazy. So he was able to, in his area, pivot in a way that.
But I could see that being super valuable, that you can upload documents, the AI can read it, identify, things that like stand out and could be erroneous or cause for question or something like that. I mean, I really think it just helps not necessarily multiply, but like amplify like yourself. Like, and I kind of think about this as like, I can do things 10 times faster because of AI today. Like I can get a lot more done than I used to be able to.
Like the note takers and meetings,
effort, but it's amazing.
Well, like the note takers, everyone's got their little robot note taker.
Yeah.
And I used to hate it. Like Fathom or Fireflies or Otters is like knocking on my door in the middle of like an important meeting. He's like, get out of here, robot.
Yeah, but
there's probably recordings of me saying that. Get out of here, robot.
It's like bringing your assistant to the call. They're taking all the notes, and then like you're getting the summary, you're getting the action items. Like that is really helpful. Like you don't drop the ball on things like you might have before because you have like this little assistant that just follows you to all the meetings and gets all the information for you and takes all the notes and packages it all up and says, here you go. It's like the greatest.
But if you ask that same assistant to build a spreadsheet, there's going to be like an assistant fresh out of college that is easily distractible.
Yeah.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Right. What does AI do to attention? Because people don't need to pay attention as much because the AI is handling it.
It's been good for us, I would say, in the past like 6 months. This upcoming year, I'm tracking video AI the most because Synthesia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, is the one where it could like clone me. And I was like, there's no way it's going to be able to get my beard and my bad pronunciation and my mumbling and all of that. There's no way.
No, it is.
One of the biggest, like there's like an AI influencer, Ruben Hassid on LinkedIn. He's got like a zillion followers. It's great stuff. All of his stuff is the AI version of him, and he's got a beard and a weird accent. Like English is his second language, and I have to like be paying attention to be able to tell the difference, which begs the question: is it going to get to the point that I could send the AI version of myself to go demo software for me?
But why would you want to do that?
People are doing it. I had someone try to sell me the platform that can do that recently. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I don't know. But the fact is that people are doing it. And I think it's changing.
You mean they're doing the demos, or you're sending somebody to receive the demo for you?
Some people are not attending the meeting. They have the AI version of themselves attend the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's clunky at the moment, but ChatGPT was clunky 2 years ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't like not knowing and not having those personal conversations and making those connections. If I send an AI to do something for me, I feel like I'd be human disconnected. Like I'd be like, I don't know anything about that conversation. Yeah. Fact of the matter is, I'd still have to listen to it and watch it, whatever, to like get up to speed. So why not attend in the first place? Seems a little off-putting, but
it is very off-putting to me. That's one of the reasons I think tangibility is going to be so important in 2025, because if someone sent like those videos, like Loom videos, right? Like I've had some clients have some success with video prospecting, but I think that will go away because now a pre-recorded video will become less believable. It's like, I wonder if they use an AI to do this.
I feel like that one's already kind of falling off. So there was this time when it was very much a novelty. And if you got a video recorded for you, it was like, oh my God, this person took time to look at my website and record this video and I see them and this is great. And it was like, you know what, I'm going to respond just because they did that. But then what I noticed, and I don't know if you've seen it on your side, is that it became the email marketing kind of thing with that personalization, where it would just scan my website, not even showing what they're looking at. Like it's just showing my website. And then the person would be talking and then be like, hey, Jennie. I was like, this is not personalized. So there was like, I feel like, companies like Vidyard and stuff, and I don't mean to call them out and say they're bad. I don't have anything against them, but I feel like they peaked at some point, and then like maybe through the COVID digital pandemic, like people just like no. I don't see those very much anymore.
That it's going to become impossible to fully trust a digital interaction anymore. And that's why I think events, a tangible thing you could touch and feel. I do think live video calls, like the call we're on right now, I think it's going to take a while to get to the point where it's legit, but I bet you a whole crop of technology is likely being developed right now. All the fresh, bushy.
Well, AI came on big and strong at the end of 23. Was it the end of 23? Yeah. It just showed up and it's just been booming ever since.
So I think that almost like, hey, I've gotten a retinal scan done. There's definitely human on the other side here. But like otherwise, there was another weird tool that I saw where they said you could take a Zoom call in your pajamas. So it was your voice that was talking, but it placed you in like a real office and looking all professional with good posture and really, leaning in when people were listening and doing all the things you're supposed to do in a professional setting, but it was just you in bed in your pajamas. So it was like, again, why? Like, why just put some clothes on and turn the light, All
right, I'm guilty. I'm going to throw this out here. I wanted to play around with some AI tools. I found one that did headshots. It was like 250 headshots for like $70, which if you know headshots, they're $250 minimum, right? So I'm like, oh, I'll try this. You take like 10 photos of yourself, upload it. Next thing you know, you've got 250 headshots and you're probably good to go on 100. Not only that, you could still use their magical editing tools to like clean it up or change your shirt or change the background or whatever. So it was even like customized AI. So yes, if you go to my LinkedIn, it is an AI headshot, but it is, I very much tried to choose something that was truly me. Like I was like, okay, that's my hair.
I look like you.
It's me. It's just the AI version.
I mean, people have been touching up pictures since like
right?
the 1900s.
But guess what? I didn't have to go to a setting and find a photographer.
Mhm.
And you know what? People should embrace more of that, because on websites, people have their headshots for their team. And because we're all remote now, they're trying to like, oh, we can't do headshots because we're trying to get everybody together. So it's all the same lighting and all the same background and all that. Leverage AI, $70 a person, and everybody's headshot is going to be fantastic and match, and it's going to look professional and clean. So, I mean, hey, there's the tip of the day. there's something you could do with AI that's like makes a lot of
I've touched up pictures. I love using AI for like newsletter images. And I really, really hate stock photography. I hate it.
And I love your newsletter. I just got it in my inbox the other day, and I was like, this is so like personal. And like you introduced Fred, and Fred is what is his name?
That's David Biggs.
David's baby boy. Yeah. There's a picture of him, and then you're like, what are you starting? What are you stopping? All the things. And I was like, this was just a really like good piece of content that you could connect with. Even though
those only take like 5 hours each to write, by the way. People was like, oh, I just whipped that out the newsletter. I was like, no, that was days of work.
Oh, I didn't think you spin that out quickly. I thought
the start, stop, continue exercise from Anthony Honorino. He's the guy that runs the sales blog. He was one of my accidental sales mentors. I like went on one of his like free webinars or something years ago. And he just like, hey, if you have any questions, just hit me up. So I actually hit him up, and he had a couple like video calls with me, and the guy is brilliant at sales, like just genius level. And I learned a whole bunch from him, but that's one of his exercises he does.
You said he was Anthony Marino?
Continue. Yeah.
You said Anthony Marino?
Honorino. It's tough to say. IANNARINO.
All right. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, thesalesblog.com. He's written a whole bunch of books. He's like a professor of sales, so very much the it's not the razzle dazzle and not like a Baptist preacher talking about selling. He's more like a professor. He considers himself an introvert, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the man could sell though. Like,
well, he must be able to go on show on the spot. So
yeah.
That's awesome. So speaking of sales, what are some other mistakes that sales you see making?
Oh, geez. I think that the relationship between marketing and sales is very broken. Even if you have a tiny little company, and people typically still separate out marketing and sales. You've got even in fractional situations, you'll have like a fractional CMO and a fractional CRO.
That's why I love the CRO over marketing and sales. That's like my favorite setup, because somebody needs to say marketing and sales is going to play nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So like chief growth officer has kind of grown out of that. But the big challenge that I'm seeing right now is that leadership or investors, as often is the case, they want to see a predictable revenue model. They want to see a business model where if I put this much money into ads and this much money into events and this much money into email, that it'll poop this much money out in the end. And what ends up happening is that sales, in an effort to create predictability, actually ends up shooting themselves in the foot. So examples would be, hey, I want to test LinkedIn ads versus cold email versus Facebook ads versus maybe sponsoring an event. Okay.
Sure.
So they divvy out their budget. Okay, put an X amount. I got Y out. That is completely broken thinking, because in the world we're in today, with the trust issue being low, by default, the trust is low and the noise is high. That it's going to take multiple touches. And it's not, that doesn't mean, oh, I'll just do a 6-drip email sequence. There's my 6 touches. Those aren't touches. Right.
Yep.
So I think that if I wanted to distill it down to like two major things, and this is something I struggle with too, so I'm not trying to like guilt trip anyone out there, is that awareness, brand awareness, thought leadership, all these things that are really difficult to measure are absolutely necessary right now, because unless you're a big brand name, no one knows who you are.
Right.
No one knows what your brand is. And if they don't know who you are, there's no reason for them to care.
That's always a fun conversation to have, because when you're talking to C-level leadership investors, they want to know, I give you $1, you give me what, right? So they want to, they want to understand the value of every dollar that they're getting, right? And they want to have those multipliers, right? But the challenge is a lead is not $1. Like, I'm not going to say, if a lead is $1, you give me $100, I'll get you 100 leads. There's this whole, like, do you know who we are? Do you understand what we do? Do you have these pain points? So there's this journey, and they have to know who you are in order to engage, in order to convert, in order to purchase, right? And so many times, when you're looking at the cost of acquisition, they're like, okay, well, if I give you $200 and that gets me a lead, I expect it to convert into sale and the multiplier to be, 10x or whatever, right? And the marketing math does not work that way.
No, and that's
to different KPIs.
And what drives me most nuts about it, specifically for the hard to measure sales and marketing activities like awareness campaigns, like having your name on a billboard, it's like impossible to measure, right? Is most venture capitalists, they don't have that much certainty in anything that they do. They're gamblers. They're gambling, but instead of gambling on getting a good hand in poker or their ability to work through a bad hand, they're gambling with businesses. They're buying up 10, 20, 30 businesses, knowing that most of them will fail, yet they expect to have certainty in at the next level down on this individual company. So there's all this additional scrutiny. And then if the company has a couple of bad months, they freak out.
Yeah.
And I've been on some of these calls before. Oh my goodness. It's kind of cringy, honestly. I get it though. I mean, if I was the one investing the money, I'd be all up in their business. It's just I am not a venture capitalist. I don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
The second thing that I see in the sales process going wrong is it's fear of the phone. There's this odd fear of the phone. People don't want to make phone calls. You have those rare old school salespeople or folks that come from, phone heavy industries, which aren't that many left. That they're afraid of the phone. And oftentimes I've had like a dream client or a dream prospect. I was like, oh my God, if I could close this deal, not only am I going to get money off the deal, but these people are very chatty online. It'll be a good logo on my page. They'll refer me. It's going to be the biggest win, right?
Yeah.
And I get the meeting. We have a call, and this ghosts me. And I did that and was angry about it for years. And then I was like, I'm just going to shoot him a quick call or a quick text. Hey, is everything cool? And the amount of times, oh man, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. They're apologizing to me. I'm so sorry. I forgot to get back to you.
Yeah.
It just got lost. The only way to like nudge them was a phone call. They were appreciative for the phone call.
Where do you think the phone call, so kind of post-question, yes, right? If you're in the sales process, yes. But what about for lead gen and cold calling? Where are you at on that one?
I I mean, I've run cold call teams in the past year that the cold call was the highest converting tactic.
So it still works.
Yeah, it still works. Now, the challenge, just like with video prospecting, just like with cold email, things that marketers, frankly, have kind of ruined, is the phone technology is improving. So phones have the equivalent of spam filters now. And it's getting to the point that just that when inboxes get too flooded with spam, the inbox providers, Microsoft, Yahoo, Gmail, Apple, they'll overcorrect. And right now there's an overcorrection happening with phones and with text messages. There's a new law passing the end of this month, I think. That's going to be enacted at the end of this month. That's going to make it even harder.
I'll be honest. I don't
It's
want people to
effective
call
if
me
you could
and try to
actually.
sell to me. Like
What's
if I
that?
know you, I want you to call me. But if I don't know you, I don't want you to call me. Usually it's like disruptive. Like I'm doing something, I'm in a meeting, I'm doing a podcast, taking a shower. Like I mean, you know, the newer generations don't talk on the phone like they used to.
Now, I agree with that. There's definitely a generational aspect. So if we're running a campaign with a target that's full of younger kids, you know, kids meaning like 20s.
Yeah.
We might do more SMS in that case. WhatsApp, I think, is heavily underutilized, like WhatsApp groups, Slack groups, Discord channels. Like
Yeah.
I've done a lot of business on
I think
WhatsApp.
Discord is the area that we need to look into.
Which one?
Discord. There's a lot of conversations and communities in there, and it's kind of been this organic build of communities.
Yeah.
And people want to be part of it because they want to talk to those people that like.
They're aggressively self-moderated too. So there's actual human beings that will kick out the riffraff so fast. If someone gets a little too political or too judgy or too complainy or too salesy, they'll just get kicked out.
So bringing it back around, you know, kind of with limited budgets and resources, a lot of companies are finding themselves with like one salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
How can this one salesperson be successful?
Ooh, that's a damn good question.
Well, on a company scale, and like sales be effective with just one person. And I have this scenario with a few clients right now, and it's like, hey, that's a really good question. Like, how can you?
Right now, the 80-20 rule, I know Pareto's principle applies. I would say that 80% of the effort needs to be put into the volume efforts. So efforts where you're sending out more emails, pushing out more connection requests, going to more events, stuff that is going to yield more touches to net new prospects. And then 20% of the energy needs to be focused on winning major accounts. What happens is that a salesperson, once they start getting a major account, they get tunnel vision, and no one is taking care of the top of funnel prospecting anymore. So they end up fixating on this. And at the end of the day, cash flow is cash flow is cash flow. So the salesperson wants commission, but the company will become unhealthy if they're not bringing in small transactions too. They need cash flowing. And little deals can turn into big deals. Some, like I would say, I looked at it historically, like in the past 15 years, my top 10 most biggest projects, biggest clients over the years, I think 6 of them started like what the first transaction was like less than $100, and they turned into a $50,000, $100,000 plus client. Wow. So salespeople tend to get tunnel vision going after major accounts, and their bosses want them to go after major accounts because we need this big win.
Yeah.
When oftentimes those small wins will yield it faster. And also, and this is the big pro tip here that I've been getting back into a lot. is small prospects may have a big black book. So a small prospect may have a big black book. So even though you may be selling to someone that just has an itty bitty operation, maybe they only have like 10 employees, they have no budget at all for whatever it is you're doing, it doesn't mean that helping them won't yield a totally awesome referral. Because that warm introduction, one person, one relationship could yield 5, 10 warm introductions that is going to outperform any sales method. It's they call it referrals. Oh yeah, we get most of our business from referrals. Well, you need to plant new relationship seeds with people that you're not selling to get those referrals. It's not just your clients and customers. It's people you know and you help. You mentioned the events that you run.
Yep.
That's what has helped me win those. It's a longer game, right? But you run a cool event, people show up. Maybe none of them are a potential client, but now I've got a room full of referral sources of people that know me and they drink free beer from me. So now
Yeah. Well, I think there's value in meeting other people too. So if you create value for them to potentially have prospects there, or them to potentially have partnerships or whatever, there's more value than like, hey, come meet me and have a beer on me. It's like, hey, come meet these other people that are doing similar things or in similar situations as you. So that's kind of been my approach. But so last question for today is, say a company has managed to grab the attention of new prospects. What's the next step to turn that interest into something meaningful?
Well, in the case of an event, right? So someone goes to a happy hour near a conference or does a local networking event or a breakfast, whatever it is. Okay. The first interaction after the event must be completely devoid of a pitch. No pitch. You shouldn't even really pitch at the event, sell at the event either. That's another big mistake I see people make. But that first interaction, whether it's an email or a connection request or a little thank you card, if it was something a little bit swinkier, I think that's very suitable in this case. No selling. Like don't sell in that first follow-up.
Make a connection with a person. Like just focus on being like, just be authentic and make a connection and build a relationship. And then if it makes sense and what you have could be of value to them and maybe the pain points they had that they shared with you, then you could sell. But if you go in there with selfish intentions to sell your solution, whether or not they need it, you're not going to be met with like,
yeah. And that's hard. That level of restraint, I think that I'm seeing over the years, that having that one extra step of restraint, like just a little bit of restraint holding back on the pitch, gets rewarded most of the time. So and then in the next touch, you actually just need to be more direct, and that's something that I struggle with because I'm a writer. I like doing creative campaigns and cool stuff. But at the end of the day, people just want to know what it is you sell and why they should care.
Yeah. So I said last question, but I selfishly have one more. How do you get in the headspace or the mind space, whatever, to write? Because you were like, oh, I write and I do all this creative, cool stuff. For me, the music has to be right. The lighting has to be right. The focus has to be on our own. Like there's all these things, but what does that look like for you?
If it's heavy lifting writing where I'm not in research mode, I'm actually just
like creative.
Creative words. Choosing word. I listen to bossa nova.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's most of the singing is not in English, and most of it's instrumental, and most of it's jazz based. So
I can't have anything on with words. The words distract me.
Yeah. I don't speak Spanish, and
so I don't understand it.
That and timers. I'm a big
Oh,
believer.
like a Pandora, like you're like, hey, I got 60 minutes to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
use
like the
a
pressure?
little Chrome extension that's a count up timer. So I'll do, and then I'll have a ding at the 15-minute mark, 30-minute mark, 45-minute mark, hour mark. So what it does is it makes me aware if I am getting distracted, it'll pull me back in.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, the other big thing that I do is I call it the dirty draft. I just get a really like the roughest draft I can out of my head and onto paper.
Yeah.
And that's like I was in screenwriting school years ago, like back in 2008. So this is a while back. And my instructor was Stuart Stern. He's the guy that wrote Rebel Without a Cause. And, with James Dean. The guy could write. And the very first exercise he ever did with us is he grabbed the yellow pad and he says, grab your pen. So I'm going to give you a prompt. And the only rule is you can't lift the pen off the paper. So just swipe it back down to the next line. Do not take the pen off the paper. Do not stop writing. And then he would tell us, okay, pen's up. And he'd give us another prompt, and we'd have to connect it with whatever that last thought was and trying to connect the two thoughts together. And this idea of not pulling the pen off the paper was weird because it gets all swirly.
Yeah.
But it gets you out of your own way. It gets you unstuck really fast. And I honestly think that taking those tips from the creative writing space is where I've gotten way more gains from the advice from like screenwriters than I ever have from a business writer.
Yeah, no, that's a kind of cool method. I think I'm gonna try that because so often you're like, what am I gonna say? And you like lift the pen, and then next thing you know, squirrel. So and then you're trying to get back into it and get back to, oh, where did I leave off and what word? And like I thought about this, but whatever. So
do you ever like record it, talk it out, and then
I'm not, but that's probably another thing to try. Now, with that being said, Otter records it and I talk it out and I ask Otter to be like, hey, pull out, 5 big, things from this. And like those usually become my, ideas if I'm going to write. But we are at time, so we're going to have to do a part 3. I need like 7 hours to get through a conversation.
We'll do it later in the day, though. This is very early for me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's not that early, but like after the holidays, my whole clock was like, all right, I'm gonna just, I could sleep every day during the holidays, and now.
Well, I'll be honest. I usually don't do the afternoon because the kids come home from school and then they're just like elephants. like rhinos, and like because I'm on the computer talking and I don't have the phone to my ear or whatever, like mom blah blah blah, I'm like recording a podcast, can you please be quiet?
You get like a spray bottle? I can do that.
Yeah, right, like spray them like I would the cat. Yeah, that's what I should get. But it's very nice having you on again. And I will I'll book another time with you to continue. Nate, you want to tell people how they could reach out to you if they wanted to connect with you?
Yeah, Nate at B2BBandits.com. I actually do read my emails and reply to most of them. So.
All right, perfect. Well, we know how to get a hold of Nate, and it actually works. So we'll do that, and we'll book again. Thanks for coming on, Nate.
All right, thanks, Jen.